Hello, and welcome to the Mid-Ohio Valley Public Forum video podcast. I'm Jennifer Bryant.
And I'm Kim Van Ryn.
And we're your co-hosts. The pandemic has changed life quite a bit in our country.
And this is an election year. One of the things that has happened is that candidates can't campaign the way they normally would. So we're hoping these podcasts will help you get acquainted with the candidates and make a more informed decision when you vote.
The podcasts are available on multiple platforms. So wherever you found this one, you can find others just like it. With Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And our podcasts are available on podcast platforms like Spotify and Google Cast. We hope you'll get to the polls. Election day is just around the corner. Early voting begins October 21st and ends the 31st. And then the very last day to vote is Election Day, Tuesday, November 3rd.
Good afternoon. Today we have Sam Petsonk, who's running for Attorney General for the state of West Virginia. Sam's out on the road campaigning. Welcome, Sam. We're so glad you could take the time to join us this afternoon.
Well, vice versa. I'm glad that you're doing this. Glad to be here with you.
Well, for those who may have missed our conversation with you during the primary that we're going to link in the comment below, take just a minute and give us a short introduction on who Sam Petsonk is and tell us why you're running for Attorney General.
Well, I thank you. Many people know I'm a ninth generation West Virginian. I worked for Senator Byrd, Robert C. Byrd, the last few years that he was with us in the United States Senate. And I'm a labor lawyer. I've represented mostly coal miners and working people all across West Virginia, fighting for wages and health care and retirees' health care, black lung benefits. I've been really proud to deliver millions of dollars in judgments and settlements and benefits for hundreds of coal miners across West Virginia. The programs that I worked on when I worked for Senator Byrd have the programs that I helped Senator Byrd to author and create have brought billions of dollars to coal miners across this country. And unfortunately, Patrick Morrisey, our Attorney General in West Virginia, has taken to the federal courts to try to repeal those very programs and take away those billions of dollars in health care for coal miners and working folks all across this country. So I'm in this race to stop him from doing that.
Mm-hmm. Well, Sam, we take for granted that you're running for Attorney General to benefit the people of West Virginia. And so a lot of people don't understand exactly what the Attorney General does. Can you briefly cover what the responsibilities of the Attorney General are in the state of West Virginia?
Absolutely. The Attorney General has two principal jobs. First is to serve as the people's lawyer, to go to court to protect the people and recover for our losses, protect the public interest, and that means suing the tobacco companies and the mortgage lenders and the pharmaceutical companies, the pain pill companies that have really victimized our state. That's job number one. Job number two is to serve as the general counsel, as the lawyer for the agencies of the state. That means protecting transparency, accountability, due process in government, open meetings, freedom of information. These are the jobs that the Attorney General has as the counsel to the agencies of the state. Those are the two major parts of the Attorney General's job.
Well, with regard to the responsibilities of the Attorney General, what do you see as the biggest issues facing West Virginia right now?
Well, Patrick Morrisey, the current Attorney General here, has gotten our state, without our approval, by the way, he went to federal court to sue the federal government to eliminate health insurance for 200,000 West Virginians. That's 1 in 10 it's really more than 1 in 10 West Virginians who will lose our health care if Morrisey succeeds with what he's after in his reelection and in his lawsuits that are pending right now at the United States Supreme Court. So, it would really affect all of us with pre-existing conditions, what they call pre-existing conditions. That just means if you're sick, Morrisey would with his federal lawsuit, would make it legal again for companies to deny coverage to people like me. I'm a type 1 diabetic, and if I were on the private health insurance market the way it used to be before the federal healthcare law, companies could just summarily deny healthcare to me, even if I were willing to pay through the nose for whatever unconscionably high fees that companies might want to charge. So we've got to We've got to save our healthcare system. We're talking billions of dollars in healthcare and tens of thousands of jobs, good, high quality, high paying healthcare jobs in West Virginia will be lost if Morrissey wins what he is trying to do right now. So that's the most important issue. Obviously, the drug addiction crisis is a massive challenge for us in West Virginia, and the Attorney General has a responsibility to represent the cities and the counties, the governments of West Virginia who have lost so much money and try to recover some of those losses from the pain pill companies. Most people know Patrick Morrissey was a lobbyist for these very same pain pill businesses before he moved to West Virginia and took over our lawsuits against that same industry. And he's either sat on the settlements or basically settled them for pennies on the dollar of the real losses that we've suffered over the last 8 years while Morrissey's been in office here. So we've got to get right on fighting the addiction crisis. And I can say more about that, but we have to litigate better. We've got to protect the federal healthcare dollars that are the backbone of our addiction treatment system in West Virginia. If we lose those federal dollars like Morrissey's trying to take away, we're sunk in the fight against the addiction crisis. That's how we pay for addiction treatment services in West Virginia, with those federal monies that Morrissey wants to eliminate. And, we also have to promote a culture of long-term recovery, get people back into the workforce, back with their families, provide vocational rehabilitation and some housing and some support, to destigmatize our recovering addicts and help them become productive citizens again. The Attorney General, through the Civil Rights Division and the Consumer Protection Office, can help to make all of those things happen. And it's a big focus of mine. I've written about it. I've lectured about it. I've taught lawyers around West Virginia how to use our laws to protect people in long-term recovery and give them a real shot at living. We have thousands of people that die from the addiction crisis in West Virginia, about 1,000 a year. Many years now we've had. The overdose rate, the fatality rate from overdoses has doubled while Morrissey has been in office. So healthcare, the addiction crisis have to be two of the biggest issues. I can speak more about education and workers, workforce development and a whole variety of business and infrastructure issues that the Attorney General also affects.
So should you be elected Attorney General, what are your plans? What do you want to tackle first and so on?
Well, job number one is to remove West Virginia's support for this terribly dangerous lawsuit that would take away health insurance from 1 in 10 West Virginians. 200,000 West Virginians would lose their health insurance if Morrissey succeeds. So I will withdraw our support from that really dangerous and disloyal initiative. I mean, he's been attacking his own clients, that is the people of West Virginia. We've got to stop him from doing that. But moreover, we've got to work to fight to make healthcare more affordable and better for West Virginians. And I can do that. I will be doing it by working with our hospitals and our insurance carriers to bring down the cost of care and protect our facilities around West Virginia. I've litigated with the state many times to protect community schools and to improve our public education system. That's a bedrock constitutional value in West Virginia. We actually have a fundamental right in our Constitution for a thorough, efficient, adequate, equitable, and free public education system. So we've got to fight to improve public education. We've got to fight to build better broadband infrastructure, better infrastructure across the state. That means land use planning. That means broadband deployment. I've worked on those issues in my law practice, and we'd be eager to support public-private partnerships to get better broadband out to more West Virginians. I can say more about wage and hour enforcement, consumer debt, medical debt. The Attorney General has the job and the duty to fight against abusive consumer and medical lending practices that really cause a lot of our people to carry an immense amount of debt, which is a real problem for families trying to build wealth in West Virginia. So the Attorney General touches virtually every aspect of life in our state, and it's an important office. I hope people here have done the work to develop better approaches. I've done in my law practice millions of dollars in judgments for a lot of West Virginia families, and we need to see that leadership from our Attorney General.
Well, voters often don't get the opportunity, Sam, to meet the candidates in person. I'm sure you're doing what you can out there on the road, getting around to people, but we'd like to help you get the voters acquainted with you as a person. So we want to ask you a few questions about Sam Petsonk, the person, and not Sam Petsonk, the attorney or the candidate.
All right.
What would you say you're most passionate about?
Well, pretty much all I do is run my work these days. So I am very passionate about that. I mean, rest assured. But you know, I'm a banjo picker. I just come from a picnic down here in Penn Springs, down in southern West Virginia, and really enjoyed picking some. You know, I always love bluegrass music, and I do a lot of that when I can, if I can. But you know, the thing that I am most passionate about has to be my two little boys. You know, I want to teach them the things that I learned, picking a banjo, you know, living a good life in West Virginia. These two little boys of mine are 10 months old and three years old. And, you know, I'm really worried about the kind of shape that our state is in. And I care, you know, like anybody that's around kids or has kids, you hold those little babies in your arms, and you can't help but have a real sense of duty to leave this world in a little bit better shape than we found. And heck, it's got to be in a good bit better shape than it is right now. So, you know, I care an immense amount about supporting my boys and giving them, you know, a quality of life that they deserve.
What qualities do you value in the people around you?
Hard work, and you know, I always say, I guess you'd call it unity or sticking together. You know, I always say what makes West Virginia such an extraordinary place is that our people our people stick together, you know, and I want people to work hard, but I also want people to work hard together, because we can't carry the world on our shoulders, you know. And I think what makes our state successful when we're at our best is working hard, neighbor with neighbor, you know, working hard together. I think those two things, if we're loyal to one another and we work hard at it, I don't know that we need much else. I mean, I have faith in that. I have faith in the goodness of our people and the strength of our people. So that's what I look for, you know, in public life, in anything, frankly, that you do in business or public office.
With that, we've come to the end. We'd like to give you time to tell us and the voters anything you think we need to know, including how to get more information on your campaign, how to get involved, donate, get a yard sign, etc.
Well, it's really easy here. I've got a website, samforwv.com there. That's my low-tech promo, but samforwv.com is my website. And we're on there. You can sign up to get our updates. We don't send a whole lot. We don't try to maybe send but a few emails, two or three emails a week at the most. And that's usually all you'll get from us. But you know, we also can, through the website, you can find our Facebook page. I'm on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. So we provide a lot of updates on the news, on where I'm traveling and what I'm doing in the state, because I love to be with people, and COVID has made it harder, but I'm online a lot with questions and answers. Oh, I think we might be getting a train coming by here. But yeah, you can visit me on the website there, and that's probably the best way to stay in touch with us. You can ask for signs, and we'll come out and visit people. We can do these sorts of online conversations, and I would love to do that with anybody, publicly or privately, anytime.
Mm-hmm. Well, Sam, we'll sign off quickly so that the train doesn't overtake things. We really appreciate you coming and joining us this afternoon, and we wish you the best of luck in your campaign. Everyone, stay safe and wash your hands.